Hey there, in today's video I am going to be doing coffin nails. I haven't done long coffin nails in a while. I already have them on my nails and I have them on top of my builder gel. So I'm not going to be prepping the nails right now. I'm going to be using this BG11 Bling Girl nude color as my base for three of my nails, and I'm gonna start with my middle finger because I want to do a Frenchie for that one. I am going to try, and I'm hoping that the audio outside isn't as audible. I do have my windows closed, which means the smell of monomer will be lingering in my place for a while before I can open my windows, because there is music outside and I'm doing my nails in the morning. So I hope that is not too much of an issue at this moment. Anyway, I am currently listening to a very informative podcast that talks about the South African history and stuff. In general, I'm not a history person. I don't want to say I'm not interested in history, but I'm not like a history enthusiast. But it's interesting to listen to some of the things that happened in the past that has shaped where we are right now as a country and stuff. So it's quite interesting, but it's not something like I would go out and sort for. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, wow. Like I feel like back in the days, as much as there were a lot of wars and stuff, I feel like those days were filled with more genuine and more passionate people than now. Like even when you hear about people who killed themselves to not pick a side to fight for, not to fight for either of the wars, like either side of the people who were in the wars, like it just goes to show how genuine people were. Like there's just so many stuff that I hear about back then that makes me realize that there was so much depth in the past compared to now, like in my opinion, with a lot of things, like not just wars, but yes, there's a lot of things that were passed to now. Like you can see that, when you look at relationships, yes, there were a lot of polygamous relationships in the past, but they made it work. I feel like we've grown into a world where, of course, I'm not saying it was easy for them back then. I wasn't there, but it just looks like, as much as yes, women probably did not want to be in polygamous relationships, but for the most part they did not have a say in all of that. And now that they do have says, they just don't want to be in polygamous relationships, and it's just so chaotic in a way when you think about it. But now that women have got says, they're just like, I'm not gonna stand for that and stuff. And I'm not saying that women should not have says in anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that worked back then that maybe we could have made it better without it being a war. Because I feel like right now men and women are just in competition, and I don't think that's what we're meant to do. Men and women were created to be in partnership, and I think there's so much that would go right if men and women were on the same side. But lately it just feels like there's a lot of men who are just not secure in their manhood, and there's a lot of women. And it's just interesting to think about. But wow, I don't want to bash any gender or anything, but I just feel like men lately are not as, like, I feel like men now are not as manly as men used to be back then. And like I said, I'm not trying to bash any gender, or I'm not being like sexist or anything, but it's just men now just are very soft. And I'm not saying being soft is a weakness, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But back then, men, as much as there's a history of now men don't show emotions, I feel like men did show emotions back then. Men did definitely show emotions, but they showed them in different ways. They did not dwell in them. I really don't know. I don't think I'm even qualified to be talking about this, but it's just something that's been on my mind, and I'm just like, this is quite interesting how there's so much that has changed, and some of the changes are good, but most of them, man, I don't know, but I don't know what this world has come to. Let's just be grateful that we're alive, all in all, and I guess like we can just be grateful to be alive, honestly, and just tell ourselves that whatever change we want to see for ourselves, we should create for ourselves. Honestly, we should be the change that we want to see. At least can just do that. Okay, so I want to use this silver acrylic. This is one of the first acrylics that I got in the beginning of my nail journey, and I was not able to use it because it was just so runny for me. Like, it was too runny, honestly. So I'm not gonna use it like that. I am gonna mix it up with some glitter. I am gonna pour some of this in here. It's a container that I used to make my maroon acrylic, and I think I used this before, and I think I just poured out the glitter that I made. Was it on my previous video? I'm gonna pour some of these, or rather all of this. I don't use this much anyway. Just want some glitter in my acrylic, and then I'm gonna use some of the clear acrylic to mix that up so that it's not too gray like that. I want it a little bit like sheer. And then let's see how that looks. I'm hoping the clear acrylic did make this somewhat little sheer, and I think it did. This doesn't look too opaque compared to that, so I'm just gonna go on with that acrylic on the nails that I have the nude on. I'm gonna start with I don't want to start with the Frenchie. I think I wanna maybe just start with the ombre, because those two nails I want to file. In fact, I don't think I should file my thumb because I will cover that line with bling. Okay, I don't like this. It still looks a little opaque in my opinion. I think I should add a little more clear acrylic to that. Maybe that will, I think that's a lot of acrylic, but this acrylic is giving very much mica powder. Like it's very rich in its pigment, and I don't know if mica powder is the right word I'm looking for, but it's just very rich in its pigment and a little hard to work with if it catches you off guard. So, but I knew about it being runny, so I was prepared for that. I think that's why I'm not chasing it too much, because I already knew that I should not flood my brush with monomer. Otherwise, I'll be chasing this acrylic. Be looking like a fool doing that. I did want to add a little bit of fine gray glitter onto the acrylic, but I thought the acrylic has enough fine glitter on its own, so I don't think that is necessary. So that's why I just added the circles only. So I'm not going to focus on this being too perfect on the thumb, because I'm planning to cover that line anyway with bling. I feel like with nail stuff, you can only do so much, especially if you've got a style that you're going for. Like, you can only do so much when it comes to nail designs. I mean, yes, there's a lot of designs out there, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's just starting to get ridiculous. Like, nails that people are doing are just for content, because what? I mean, they're beautiful, but I don't think some of them are just practical to have on. And I feel like that's why the real ones, and I'm not saying the ones that aren't, I'm not going to mention aren't real, but the real ones, like, Zule's nails, acrylic cured, they repeat their own nail sets, because what else can you do? Like, what's new, But anyway, okay, I went ahead and filed a little bit of the Frenchie, as much as I could, honestly, but I don't think I did pretty much to it. But I'm gonna try and not overlap the Frenchie like I usually do. Honestly, I'm just trying to be a good girl. I can just stay on camera. I don't know if these two colors go well together, this nude and this gray, but we're still going with it. We're gonna get to the end with it because we're already committed. I wanted to do gold, but I was like, I already have like gold bling stiletto nails that I did, so I feel like let's try something else. What about silver? I hardly use this acrylic anyway, so I might as well. Okay, I thought I should bring out the silver foil, and I just put out a few because I generally struggle using these, so I just thought, let me just see if I can add some of that there. I did have a blue dot on my nail, so I thought also a good way to just cover that, because I feel like one of the other colors jumped into the compartment of this silver nail. But I don't know, I just thought let's try this, and so far it just looks like at least it's going on well, better than I thought on my nail. I'm just gonna put a little bit of clear just to keep it there before I encapsulate. In general, I feel like I used to just struggle with putting on foil on my nails. It never looked decent, so I hope that goes well with what I'm going for, without covering the dots, of course, because then what was the point? I don't know if this is going the way I had planned to, honestly, because wow, silver isn't silvering the way I had imagined it to. But that's fine. This is starting to look a little messier than I had anticipated for it to look, but it's okay. It's okay. I hope I can salvage that. I'm going to encapsulate the nails, but before I do, I'm just going to add the clear on the rest of the nails, the two nails that I have, because I want those to be clear nails. And I know I do have glitter on my natural nails, but I hope we can cover that, okay? Just hear me out. Trust the process. I'm also trusting the process at this point because, wow, it's not turning out the way I had imagined it to. This is why I like to follow inspo pictures to the T, because child, otherwise I'll end up with a mess. Although I feel like I need to start trusting myself and my abilities, but oof, child, that hasn't bred anything positive so far. Well, not anything, but for the most part. It's starting to get cloudy outside. I'm actually loving it. I love it when it's dark outside and it's not cold, but you know, it looks like it's gonna rain. If it starts raining, as long as it's not freezing, love it. Okay, so here's the thing. I filed these nails, and one thing I've learned about myself is that I do not like to have nails that I don't like to look at. So I'm gonna change this up. I'm not gonna go for the blingy nail set anymore. I thought I should bring out some foils, you know, change it up a bit. I don't know what exactly I want to do, but I thought, how about a newspaper nail set, newspaper foil nail set, and I don't know which one to go for. And I think the one I used before was this one. I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna decide. Oh my goodness, I just opened the windows and it just sounds like, let me close the windows. Okay, let's try that again. I think I'm gonna use the black ones, and I think I'm gravitating between, I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I think I'm gravitating to this one the most. I will see when I'm gonna use this, but I think I wanna stick to a darker theme because I was going for a gray look, so I might as well just stick to black and, you know, and gray. I mean, I could have gone for that, but I think black is good for now. So let me just cut these and see how I can go about doing this nail set at this point. Okay, if you've watched the video where I use this foil sticky gel for the first time, then you will know that I was worried about how I'm gonna use this on my nail. So I thought instead of cutting this, let me use it as long as it is, and then I'll be able to hold it down and cure, and then yeah, I'll just see how that goes. So I'm gonna apply this foil glue gel, and I'm gonna do the hack that I thought works for me instead of doing that whole cure for 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever, because that didn't work for me and I almost ran out of the foil that I was testing with doing that. So I thought, let me just cure this foil with the foil glue, and that worked for me in the video when I did the snake print using the foil. And I'm just gonna cover the nail like that and hope for the best. Honestly, I'm just really hoping for the best. So let's see how that goes. Ooh, that was the longest 60 seconds, but let's see how that turned out. Ooh, it looks like that didn't cure the way I had anticipated for it to, and maybe it's because I was not all the way in the lamp, because I just didn't know how to hold the nail in the lamp. So I really don't know. I wish I had a gooseneck lamp to do that properly, but I think I'm gonna try that, and I think you have that. You have a pretty good idea of what I'm trying to do, so maybe I'll try and do this off camera and see how that goes. I'm gonna retry this and also just redo it on top of this, but I don't know how I'm gonna position my hand to ensure that this cures the way I want it to. Okay, I think second time is a charm. I do have a little patch right there and here, but I think it's not too bad. That's something I can cover with bling if I want to put bling. But right now, I don't know how I'm gonna go about with this Frenchie. Maybe I can do it and then file it down. I really don't know. But I think before I even get to that, let me just do my pinky, because I think it's satisfying to peel off a foil that went well. So I'm gonna peel this one off camera, although I'm not gonna show myself curing it on camera because I don't think that will be cute in general. So I'm just gonna do that and hope for the best. Okay, there we go. I hope I did it well, because when I put this under the lamp, I was struggling. So I'm just hoping I was able to, yeah, no, that didn't go too well, I must say. I mean, it did go this side because I did put my nail like that. So by the time I turned my nail, I think this part was already cured. So that's not cute. Not cute at all, but it's okay. Okay, I tried my best. Okay, I really tried my best. It did take me multiple tries with the pinky, you probably can tell. And I did try to create a Frenchie with this one. It didn't really come out as I thought. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it actually is. So I'm just gonna file the Frenchie part right here and then see how I can just finish up these nails with rhinestones because like I said, I did try. I think this is quite a, I want to say good try. I don't know. I'm going to use these, and because we do have some pink and some green on the newspaper, I am going to add some of that as well, including the black rhinestones. So I'm just going to open that and see how I can make this work, because at this point it's just freestyle. And one thing about it, I am intimidated by freestyling nails, but a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do, right? So I'm gonna use this glue gel, and I'm not sure how this is gonna go, honestly, because maybe I should like file this like that so that it can ombre down, because I feel like I don't like that line of demarcation, that straight line right there. I don't know how that is gonna work, guys. I'm freestyling here. I think if I just, scratch the nail up a bit, and I don't know, I really don't know what I'm doing. Or maybe instead of rhinestones, maybe I should just add butter. You know what? Yeah, I think the rhinestones should just be on my two clear nails. Let me just get my butterflies out, because I really don't know what to do with this, honestly. Okay, I got a few black butterflies here that I think I can use, and I've got a dish with water, so I think I can just try salvage this nail set. And this is why I like to plan out my sets, so that I don't end up filming a very long video that can be dreadful to edit because it didn't go the way I planned. So I think that one can go on my thumb, and maybe a few of I really don't know. I'm gonna wing it and see. Well, wing it, no pun intended, of course, because butterflies have wings, and then we'll see how that goes. I don't want to cut too much and end up not using much, because I don't know if you can reuse water decals once they've been wet before. I really don't know, but we'll see. Okay, I'm hoping this can record, because I've been struggling to get this to record. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I went ahead and applied base coat on my nails because I want these to stick very well. So I'm gonna go ahead, and they're sliding off really well because they've been in the water for quite a bit, quite some time right now, because I was just trying to get this camera to work, and I really did not want to finish this nail set off camera after everything I've been through with this nail set, you know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just place these butterflies where I think would be suitable. I don't know, I'm just freestyling at this point. I'm sure you figured. I am gonna cut these bigger ones so that they can lay flat without bubbling. So I'm just gonna cut this right here, and I hope that doesn't ruin it, honestly. Just want it to lay flat without it bubbling. There we go. I hope these little butterfly accents will help. Okay, this one is already off its thing. Just grab it, and I hope it doesn't fold. So I'm just gonna grab it. I am actually getting frustrated with my filming device at this point, but anyway, I ended up adding the rest of the butterflies to the rest of the nails. I am going to be using this platinum gel. It is a number 12 from this brand. This is one of the first things that I got in the beginning of my nail journey, so I'm going to use this to outline my clear nails, if I can get that on camera without this camera just going off like randomly. I'm actually quite tired of it. The disrespect of this thing going off while I'm talking about it going off is just dismal. Okay, at this point I want to finish this nail set off camera. Okay, hello, hi, this is Editing Khanyi Beauty. I must say that at this point I was really frustrated because my camera just kept on switching off, and I was just so over this. Firstly, my set was not going the way I had imagined it to. I was discouraged by that. Secondly, I was discouraged by the whole camera situation, and I really just wanted to finish this nail set off camera. Thirdly, I was like, maybe I should not even post this, but it just so happens that when I decided, let me just switch it on, the camera, let me just switch this camera on, and if it switches off right now, I'm done, and I wasn't talking in the video anymore. It just so happens to record and not switch off for a whole 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Well, I'll speed it up, of course. So I was like, why would you do that to me? Like, when I really need to talk in the video, you keep switching off. But now that I'm not even talking in the video, you are cooperative and you're not switching off. So I was really over this, and I think I had come into doing these nails with a very positive mindset, especially after the nail set that I had done on my right hand, which is the custom glitter acrylics that I did. I really loved the set on my right hand, so I was quite disappointed when the set on my left hand wasn't going as well, because I had good vibes. vibes from the set on my right hand. So yeah, that's that. But guess what? I did not give up. I really did not give up. When I realized that the recording was still going, I told myself, let me just do the outro and be done with this. I almost did not post this, but I'm glad I edited it, and I kept on reading a book in between my editing because I don't like editing, and if I'm gonna have to edit something I don't like, it's gonna be even worse, 2 times worse, you know. So I kept on reading a book with every break I took in between editing, so it made it a little more manageable to edit, let me just say. But anyway, let me let the rest of the video play out, because like I said, I did not give up. I did end up finishing the video even though I did not like the nails. I'm gonna try this again. If you haven't noticed that I was actually quite annoyed with the previous clips, it's because I was just like, every time I tried to talk or just say something, it would just go off. So I just stopped talking altogether, and the moment I stopped talking, that's when the video would not stop recording. So anyway, I hope I'm not jinxing it. I'm just gonna apply top coat and then I'm done with this nail set. I did not enjoy the process only because it was just so hard to film for this, and I ended up with a nail set I didn't plan for to begin with, and I don't know if I particularly like this nail set altogether, but let me not speak too soon. Oof. And I was supposed to file off these parts. As you can see, like it's just a mess. It's messy, but I am gonna file off the tip of the nail and stuff where the foil glue was extra, as you can see even there. So oh my word, I feel like I could add some rhinestones there. Like, it's just all right. So here is the final look of the nails. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the gems with this Linfee wipe. I don't particularly like these nails, but a girl had to do what a girl had to do to save these nails. I don't even know if I saved these nails, but let's see what the fingers look like with cuticle oil on them, because child, at this moment, I don't know. This is why I don't do freestyles. I just feel like I become a mess. It gets frustrating, and then it just becomes more than what it's supposed to be. Like, it just becomes frustrating, and then it just takes the fun out of it. Like, I wish I was like the people who are so good at freestyling that they prefer clients who want them to freestyle so that they can express themselves creatively. But for me, no. Okay, I don't even know what to name this nail set anymore, because the original title of this nail set was Silver Blingy Coffin Nails. Now, what do I name this? I don't know. Maybe newspaper butterfly nails? I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't like them. They're not my favorite, but I think I can go a week looking at them. Maybe a few days. I don't know. I really don't know. I just like the sparkling effects that those rhinestones are giving right now. But I'll see how long I last with those, honestly. Let me know what you think about this nail set. If you're watching this far, please leave a newspaper emoji in the comment section to let me know that you watched this far. I appreciate you for watching. Please subscribe so that you do not miss any of my upcoming videos, and I hope you stay tuned for my next video. Thanks for watching once again. Bye.